Commander Jack Hayes stood at the observation deck of the diplomatic station, watching the purple nebula spiral beyond the reinforced glass. 3 months had passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council, and every day felt like walking through a minefield of cultural misunderstandings. He sipped his coffee, enjoying the brief moment of solitude before the next round of negotiations. The door hissed open behind him. "You have been avoiding me." "Commander Hayes." Jack closed his eyes and took a slow breath. Queen Velara of the Terran Empire stood in the doorway, her tall frame casting a shadow across the observation deck. Her scales shimmered with an iridescent blue that denoted her royal status, and her 4 arms were crossed in what humans had learned was a sign of genuine concern among her people. "Your Majesty," Jack said, turning to face her. "I was not aware that I do not insult my intelligence with diplomatic denials," Velara interrupted, stepping into the room. The door closed behind her with a soft click. "For 6 standard weeks, you have canceled 3 private meetings, rescheduled 4 dinners, and avoided every social gathering where my presence was announced. The pattern is unmistakable." Jack set his coffee down on the console beside him. The Queen was right, of course. He had been avoiding her, and apparently he had not been as subtle as he hoped. "May I speak frankly, Your Majesty? I would prefer nothing less." Jack gestured to the seating area near the window. "Perhaps we should sit." Velara moved with fluid grace to the chairs, settling into one with practiced ease. Human furniture had been redesigned across the station to accommodate various alien physiologies, and the Terran Queen fit comfortably despite her extra limbs. Jack took the chair opposite her, gathering his thoughts. "Before I explain," Jack began, "I need you to understand something about humans. We are not like the other species in the Council. We did not evolve in a world of plenty or peace. Earth is a death world by galactic standards." Velara tilted her head, the gesture eerily similar to a confused human. "I am aware of your planet's classification. This does not explain your behavior toward me." "It explains everything," Jack said, leaning forward. "Your Majesty, the Terran Empire spans 47 systems. Your military is the 3rd most powerful in known space. Your economic influence shapes the policies of a dozen smaller civilizations. And you, personally, command the loyalty of 17 billion subjects. These facts are common knowledge." "Yes, but here is what is not common knowledge among your people," Jack continued. "Humans evolved as persistence hunters. We chased our prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. We learned to read the slightest changes in behavior, to predict intentions, to notice patterns that meant the difference between eating and starving. That survival instinct never left us." Velara's eyes, large and golden, fixed on Jack with intense focus. "Continue. 6 weeks ago, you asked me to review the cultural integration protocols for human colonies in Terran space," Jack said. "During that meeting, you mentioned your admiration for human resilience. You touched my shoulder when you left. It was a gesture of respect in your culture. I remember. You seemed uncomfortable, because 3 days before that meeting, I learned something from Ambassador Torres," Jack said. "In Terran culture, when a queen touches someone of another species without the presence of her royal guard, it carries a specific implication. It suggests personal interest beyond mere political alliance." The blue of Velara's scales darkened slightly. A flush that Jack had learned indicated embarrassment among her kind. Then 2 weeks later, Jack pressed on. "You invited me to a private dinner in your quarters. Not the formal dining hall, but your personal residence. You served me food prepared by your own hands, not your staff. And you asked me questions about my family, my childhood, my hopes for the future. I wish to know you better," Velara said softly. "Exactly," Jack said. "And that is why I've been avoiding you." Silence fell between them. Beyond the window, the nebula continued its eternal dance. indifferent to the drama playing out in the small observation deck. "You find me repulsive," Velara finally said, and there was genuine hurt in her voice. "No," Jack said immediately. "No, Your Majesty, that is not it at all. You are magnificent, truly. In your own way, by your own standards, and even by some of ours, you are beautiful. Powerful, intelligent, decisive. Any man would be honored by your attention." "Then why?" "Because I am afraid," Jack admitted. "Not of you, but of what this represents. Your Majesty, humans have been in space for less than a century. We barely survived first contact with the Galactic Council. Half our planet still believes we are alone in the universe, because they cannot accept the reality of what is out here. We are infants in a universe of ancients." He stood and walked to the window, staring out at the stars. "You command an empire," Jack said. "I command a single diplomatic mission. You have lived for 300 years. I am 42. Your decisions affect billions. I struggle to keep 20 staff members working together. The power imbalance between us is not just significant, Your Majesty. It is astronomical. You believe I would use my position to pressure you," Velara said, and now there was something sharp in her voice. "You think I would abuse my authority?" "No," Jack said, turning to face her. "I think you would never intentionally do such a thing. But that is precisely the problem. How would I ever know if my feelings were genuine, or simply a response to your status? How would you know if I was being honest or just trying to secure advantages for humanity? Every moment between us would be shadowed by doubt." He walked back to his chair and sat down, meeting her golden eyes directly. "And more than that," Jack continued, "I am terrified of the political implications. If a relationship developed between us, how would the other council members react? Would they see it as humanity trying to manipulate the Thren Empire? Would your rivals use it against you? Would your own people accept a human as their queen's consort? Would my people see me as a traitor who sold himself for political gain?" Velara was quiet for a long moment, her 4 hands now folded in her lap. "You have given this considerable thought," she observed. "Your Majesty." "I have thought of little else for 6 weeks," Jack admitted. "It is driving me insane. Every time I see you across a conference room, every time I hear your voice during a council session, I feel this pull. But I also feel the weight of responsibility, not just to my species, but to you, because you deserve someone who can stand beside you as an equal, not someone who will always be looking over his shoulder, wondering if he is damaging everything he is supposed to protect." The Queen rose from her chair and walked to the window. For several minutes she said nothing, simply gazing out at the cosmos. "When I was young," Velara finally said, "before I became queen, I traveled to a world on the edge of our empire. It was a poor planet, barely able to sustain its population. I met a farmer there who worked from dawn until dusk in fields that yielded barely enough to survive. I asked him why he did not petition the empire for assistance, why he did not use his rights as a Thren citizen to demand a better life." She turned to look at Jack. "He told me that he did not want charity. He wanted to earn his place through his own effort. He said that gifts from those with power always come with invisible strings, even when the giver has pure intentions. He said that accepting help from someone so far above him would transform him from a free man into a dependent, and that he would rather struggle as an equal to the soil than prosper as a subordinate to a throne." Jack felt his throat tighten. "I thought him foolish then," Velara continued. "I am queen. I wanted to help. But he refused every offer, and I left that world frustrated and confused. It took me 50 years to understand his wisdom. He was not rejecting my kindness. He was protecting his dignity." She walked back to stand before Jack. "You are protecting your dignity," Velara said. "And mine. and the dignity of both our peoples. You are thinking not just of the moment, but of all the moments that would follow. You are showing me respect by being honest about your concerns rather than hiding them behind false politeness or reckless pursuit of what both feel. Your Majesty, This is why humans fascinate me, Valara said, and now there was something like wonder in her voice. Your species is young, yes. Small, yes. But you possess a kind of courage that most ancient races have forgotten. You are not afraid to name uncomfortable truths. You do not hide behind protocol when honesty is required. You came to the stars expecting to be the weakest, and instead of seeking protection, you insisted on standing on your own feet. She extended one of her hands, and Jack took it. Her scales were warm beneath his palm. I will stop pursuing you, Commander Hayes, Valara said. Not because my interest has faded, but because you have given me something more valuable than companionship. You have given me perspective. You have reminded me that power creates distance, and that distance must be acknowledged, not ignored. Thank you. Your Majesty, Jack said quietly. But perhaps, Valara continued, a subtle brightness coming to her eyes. In 50 years, when humanity has grown stronger and found its footing among the stars, when you are no longer the struggling newcomer but an established power, we might revisit this conversation. Jack felt a smile tug at his lips despite himself. Your Majesty, in 50 years I will be 92, and I will be 350, Valara said. Still young by my people's standards. Time, Commander Hayes, is something I have in abundance. I can wait for humanity to catch up. I can wait for you to feel like an equal, because some things are worth waiting for. She released his hand and walked to the door, pausing before it opened. Continue to avoid me if you must, Valara said, but know that I understand now, and I respect you more for your honesty than I would have for easy acceptance. The door opened, and she stepped through, leaving Jack alone in the observation deck. He turned back to the window, looking out at the infinite stars, and allowed himself to imagine a future where the gap between them might narrow, where humanity might stand as true equals among the ancient powers, where choice might be simple instead of complicated, but not yet. Not now. For now, he would carry this weight, protect this dignity, and serve his species with clear eyes and an honest heart. The coffee beside him had gone cold, but Jack picked it up anyway and raised it in a silent toast to the retreating queen, to impossible possibilities, and to the strange courage required to say no to what you want for the sake of what is right.